If you've known Terri well for any length of time, you might think that she has unorthodox views on some subjects, and you'd be right. As a Toastmaster since 2016, she's here tonight to share her view of the Toastmasters mentoring program with her speech, "Mentoring is where you find it." Welcome, Terri. Come on down.
You're on mute.
Terri, you're muted. Sorry about that. Excuse me while I restart things, and I apologize immensely. I'm having technical difficulties. Please stand by. Sorry about that, seriously. Okay, let's try this again. You know, when you try something new, things happen. Well, this is a thing that happened from me trying something new. Okay, deep breath. So, I have a controversial view to share with you. Toastmasters don't get it right all the time. Maybe you've encountered this yourself. The lesson with materials that leave your brow furrowed and your eyes crossed because it doesn't match your own life experience. Hello, fellow Toastmasters. The final lesson on level 2 of your Pathways paths talks about mentoring. Mentoring is different from coaching, it says. How so? We learned that coaches give specific techniques for improving specific issues and tell their charges what to work on next. On the other hand, mentors share personal experiences like the ones their proteges are going through. They dig deeper with their suggestions and encourage the mentees to choose what they want to work on next. The formal, and I emphasize formal, mentor-protege relationship in Toastmasters lasts for a set time, after which it ends. Of course, I'm supposed to be talking not about the lesson, but about my own experiences as a protege and what having a mentor meant to me. The truth is, I've never had a mentor in the formalized Toastmasters sense. Oh, sure, they assigned me mentors, but I've gotten more out of our own Humor Buddy program. Okay, that's not entirely true. I've had good mentors, but the truth is, they were what I would call found mentors. What do I mean by that? I never called them my mentors to their faces, and their mentoring wasn't formal. Still, they each did 3 things. They saw a spark in me worth encouraging, gave me something worth keeping, and then released me into the wild to do my own thing. Let me introduce you. Michael Corradino is the mentor that got me into Toastmasters. Literally. At the time, he was the owner of the South Lake Tablet, and I was a contributing reporter. He sent me to cover a local Toastmasters meeting for the tablet. Shortly after that, he paid for my first 6 months membership. He's the one who said to me, "You're socially awkward. You know that, right?" Who? Me? It's the only unkind thing he ever said to me. It's unkind of me to leave you with that impression. So let me paint a better picture. With 50 years of experience in journalism and photography, he took me under his wing. And he had so much vim, I had problems keeping up with him. He taught me to hear the story behind the story by listening out of the corner of your ear. In one play review I wrote, I mentioned the unique turntable that the Moonlight Players had built for quick scene changes. He liked the story. He also pointed out the story lurking within it about what it took to construct such a huge turntable. He saw my spark for writing and even for photography. I left the tablet with his advice and example, both well worth keeping. I like to think that my writing, my editing, and my photos are crisper now, thanks to Michael. Especially after what he taught me about Photoshop. My second mentor is a Toastmaster, Monty Ray Davidson, one of only 2 DTMs in Claremont Toastmasters at the time. I knew as soon as I heard him speak that I wanted to be just like him. He has great body language and excellent vocal variety. He paints an audible picture, making you hear the whir of an elevator or the crack of a baseball bat. What else? Voice he did. Impressed? I was. Okay. I never heard him do Yoda, but he's regularly done both Mickey and Minnie, and he does it well enough that you can tell them apart, which is pretty amazing considering he's a natural baritone. Not to mention, he's one of the funniest storytellers I've ever heard. When he encouraged me to enter one of my speeches in the humorous speech contest, I couldn't say no. To a DTM? Come on. I'd given only 8 prepared speeches by then, so you can imagine how nervous I was. But I took first place at club level, I won at area level, and took second place at division level. But you know, it's not the trophy I'm taking forward from knowing Monty, though, as much as his attitude. He would show up before meetings to make time to help any members who wanted his speech advice. I know I took advantage of that more than once, and it always made my speeches better. From Monty's excellent example, I learned the importance of sharing my speeches and my knowledge to help others, even if I just help them to have a good belly laugh. Recently, I acquired a third mentor. I've been learning more about weaving, and Joy Bergman, the librarian for the Weavers of Orlando, an organization I joined a little less than a year ago, took me under her wing. She set me up with a 4-harness loaner loom that sits on a table. Thankfully, it takes up a lot less space. We spent a tedious but educational day calculating the length of warp we needed to set up the loom for my first project, mud rugs. She had me weave the first 2 rows and then take it home. And now I'm almost finished weaving the project. Joy taught me about persistence, patience, and the importance of helping newbies. So what am I taking forward from that? Those ideas and the responsibility of arranging the Guild's monthly programs for 2024. Newbies don't stay newbies forever. I suppose I can't fault Toastmasters too much for laying out the mentor and protege details in a strict formal fashion. Maybe if they'd been more relaxed about the way they presented the lessons, they would have said that a mentor fans your spark, gives you fuel to keep the fire burning, and releases you to spread your flames far and wide. Even if it means igniting a little controversy along the way. Thank you, Mr. MC.
Thank you, Terry. Paul Asuma, come on down.
All right. I would like to hear from several of our members and guests, and I will start with Peter. Would you like to give an evaluation just very briefly of Terry's speech?
Terry, congratulations on that speech. It was very nice to hear the culmination of what I know has been an awful lot of work from you. So I was fortunate enough through our Humor Buddies program to hear an earlier iteration, and Terry's done a great deal of work, and I'm very impressed. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Isaac. Are you there? Can you give us a little brief evaluation of Terry's speech? All right, we'll come back to Isaac. Tracy, are you there? All right.
Terri Wells, this was an incredible speech. I'm not going to go into the content because the content was great, especially about Michael Corradino and all the different things you talked about with mentoring and your opinion of Toastmasters program. I'm just going to give you some advice like I'll give everyone else. First impressions is everything. I've never seen you before. I'm glad I met you and I'm seeing you speak. But in the beginning, you were having technical problems and apologizing profusely. We heard the education session. There were two pictures. One of somebody crying and oh my gosh, and the other one confident. So I'm going to be honest. I didn't know what to expect because you're kind of nervous and scared and oh my gosh. But when you started using your Vim later in the presentation, I said, okay. So be very careful how you start things out because you almost lost me. You got me back with your energy, but don't apologize for technical. And I'm sorry, I profusely apologize. You're gonna lose credibility really quick. You're gonna lose my attention even quicker. But you got it back, Terri Wells.
Thank you, Tracy, for all the vim that you shared. Isaac, I think you're there. Are you there, Isaac? All right, I thought you came off a mute a second ago, but now you're back on mute. Let's move.
I'm driving, unfortunately. I can only listen.
Okay, so all right, we'll pass you today. We'll get you another time then. Thank you. Susan Schultz, are you there?
I am here, but I was not engaged during this time frame, so I have no comments. I'm sorry.
That's quite all right. Sue Lightoff, I know you're here and you've been engaged.
Yes, I've been engaged. I loved it, Terry. I agree with Tracy. Yeah, got us off a little bit in the beginning. One of the things is, since we're an advanced club, we all know what the difference between a coach and everything else. You could have put that, changed the order of the speech around, given us some examples, 1, 2, 3, and then talked about what you really don't like about the Toastmaster mentoring part of it. Again, you started off with it, so switch around the order, but keep it. It was a great speech.
Thank you, Sue. Nancy, would you like to share some of your viewpoints? Nancy Nystrom? All right. Let's go instead with Marjane.
All right, thank you. Terry, I loved it. I agree with the others. When you started apologizing at the beginning, I thought, oh no. And then you got into it and you lost all that nervousness. And I loved several things about that, but I like that you talked about the spark and giving you something worth keeping. And you kind of kept that theme, mentioned that a couple times. What am I going to move? What am I going to keep moving forward? I also love that you use that little metaphor of the fanning the spark and adding the fuel. Love that. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's go with Rajiv and then we'll end it with Vicky.
Yeah, I enjoyed Terry's speech a lot. Just like everybody else mentioned quite a few things. I just wished that the 3 mentors that you started to describe more towards the end, I wish you would have expanded more on that segment and maybe reduce the initial segment a little bit, because I thought those were very specific benefits that you started to talk about. Overall, it was amazing. It was humorous all the way.
Very good. Thank you, Rajiv. And Vicky.
Terry, kudos to you. You overcame your hurdle. You got into it. I agree with everything about the 3 basic mentors were the most critical part, but you did a masterful job of really practicing using your frame, using the camera, coming close in to get really, and to be a little bit with some of your comments and then backing away, trying to use your full body. More practice needs to be done, but that really was a great example of the vim and vigor that you put into this. I felt those experiences. I think the audience connected to all of those. So kudos to you for that.
Thank you, everyone. And I'd just like to also add that I thought that you did a fantastic job. I love the energy and the vim that you used towards the end. I agree that in the beginning it was a little bit slow moving, but once you found your energy and your passion and started using your props and your arms and your body language, you just got us all hooked in. I need a little more vim, maybe. I don't know. I'm just drinking water. Anyway, I think you did an awesome job. Thank you, all of our evaluators. Great job. Back to you, Mr. McCumbee.
Thank you for that. Very good evaluations and very good speeches too.